What's up, y'all, man? This is gonna be a follow-up to the video I seen. Hotshot Benny, I linked up with him at Matt's, man. Cool dude. Was willing to at least shake my hand, man, say hi, introduce myself. But anyway, he was talking about how everybody's getting out of trucking right now. People going out of business. We had the Toe Piglet. A bunch of these other guys go out of business and change up industries or fall out of love with it. A couple people have mentioned that they, their heart wasn't in it or whatever, and they were getting out of it. And then, everybody's saying, man, why are you getting in it if you're just going to get out of it? I've even had a couple consulting clients that did decide to close their business and go out of business. And at the end of the day, guys, it really comes down to, if you guys think that this is too hard, which it is difficult. I'm not going to say trucking isn't difficult, because you've got overregulation, insurance problems, finance issues. We have one of the smallest profit margins in almost any sector, which is like 10%. Whether you have a company truck, model or an owner operator business model, at the end of the day, it's a very small profit margin business, right? You don't have the 30 or 40% margins that some manufacturing or different, industries have. So we have a lot less to work with, right? But anyway, what he was saying is that, if your heart's not in it, or if it's too difficult, and Hotshot Benny's dad was also saying that, hey man, if your heart isn't in it, or you want to switch to something else is just going to be harder. This is hard, that's hard, everything's hard. So just pick your hard, basically stick with it, and it's over time. And this is true in my opinion. I think that no matter if you're, in a car salesman or on a car dealership, or you own another business, a food truck, you have a warehouse, you're in construction, or you have a construction business, landscaping business, because I've been in other industries and I've been self-employed my whole, since basically I was a young man, and I've had multiple businesses, 5 or 6 different industries, and they're all hard. There's none of them that are easy. And like the famous saying, if it was easy, everybody would do it. That is the truest thing you could ever hear. And at the end of the day, everything's hard, and it's just a different type of hard. So if you get out of trucking thinking that something else is going to be easier, you're not a true entrepreneur. You're not willing to roll with the punches. You're not willing to, take that day that when it sucks right on the teeth, it's your turn to take it, and it doesn't matter, because if you get in different industry, you're going to have disgruntled employees, people that show up late, get hurt on a job, drug testing, accidents in the truck. I've had accidents before I even had a trucking business. I had guys get in accidents in construction trucks. Someone falling, get hurt on a job, litigation. There's so many other things that can happen in many different sectors of business, that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're gonna have, good days and bad days. And your job as an entrepreneur is to outweigh, or make the good days outweigh the bad days, have more good than you do bad. And as long as you can do that, then you're a success. But you're never gonna have just all good. If you ask anybody at any level, the bigger you get, the more problems you get, right? You would think you get bigger, make more money, things get easier. It doesn't. Financing gets harder, banking gets harder, getting paid on invoices, everything, because you're doing more masses, it gets harder. Finding good people gets harder. Establishing good relationships gets harder at a certain level. Some things get easier, but sometimes it gets harder. But in my opinion, no matter what you do, something is going to suck, right? And you're going to have bad, and you're going to have good. And it's just, my mentality is, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick it out. We're going to ride it out. We're going to make this work, and continue to grow our business and do good business, legal, moral, ethical business day in and day out. And I think if you do that you can build a good relationship in the industry with good people and grow your business. And I think that if you do that in any business, you're gonna be able to do that. So this is just, there's right now, obviously everybody's talking about we're in a low time, a slow time, a recession, all this stuff. We're still doing good. We're still making money. We have had some bruises that we've had to take throughout this time, that we've had to kind of roll with the punches and maneuver and move things around. We did have a few, unforeseen circumstances pop up that we had to navigate, but it's nothing that we can't handle, and we're going to continue to move forward. Just like Hotshot Benny and his dad were saying, it's a tough time, and at Matt's they were saying, for the next 3 months it's really just survival mode and trying to hold on to what you got, that the rates aren't that good, and so forth. And I think that, we're very fortunate to be able to have diversified into like RGN and what we're doing, some other things and whatnot, to keep good rates and to stay profitable in these times when they're tough, and have some good customers that can keep our flatbeds and stuff running at good rates. Not everybody else was able to do that. There's some people out here that are purely running, say dry van, and they were running the spot market, and the spot market fell out and they just had to fold up. And folding up wasn't the option. diversifying or changing or switching lanes was the option. You know, maybe, you know, leasing on with somebody else, partnering with somebody else, getting some different education, some different equipment, you know, picking a different lane, changing something was the option that you needed to take so that you could stay in trucking in the industry, you know. But again, I've had some clients that had, you know, insurance was a big deal for a lot of these people that went out of business. You know, Progressive and a lot of different insurance companies tightened whenever the market tightened and the recession started happening and was induced. That induced a kind of a problem and a domino effect, and the insurance started squeezing and tightening and letting go of liabilities, or where they didn't have good business or business that was maybe iffy and liability. They were kind of cutting those arms off and getting rid of some of the liability, trimming the fat more, say. And that's what you had to deal with. So you had to navigate and get with somebody else, or do something. If your safety score was bad, or you wasn't doing the things you were supposed to do before, you know, you couldn't survive. And those type of things even happened to us, and we had to make some changes, but we were able to make it work and keep going. And I think that if you have that mentality of nothing's going to take me out, I'm always going to have a way to overcome it. There's always a way, and you stay positive even when you feel like it, you know, you can't, then you can succeed. And I've been in this now since like 15, and since 2015 we've seen ups, downs, recessions, change of leadership in the White House, all kind of shit. And you know, COVID we had to go through when everything was shutting down. I mean, all this stuff we had to navigate through it. When we came in, rates were, you know, $4, $5 a mile, and you know, we seen them completely dive off. And we were in the dry van business. We had to get rid of that during COVID. Everything went to like $1.50 a mile. But we've been in every sector: flatbed, step deck, RGN, hot shot, dry van, reefer. We've done it all, and I've pretty well narrowed it down to where we're at now, mostly in the open deck, flat deck type of stuff, and we like it, and we're able to make that niche work for us. But everybody's different. But I definitely again, shout out to Benny and them, man, and them over at their company, man. They seem to be doing well and making it work, and going through the tough times and trying to grow your business and do more. And everybody else that's out there doing it, you know, I got a lot of inspiration. I have another video following up about Mats and my follow through on that. I got a lot of inspiration from that, and leaving that, we're gonna go do some big things. So look for some big things to come from us in the next year, 6 months to year. We're gonna roll out some really cool stuff. But yeah, I think that just as a follow-up video, I think that there's a lot of companies going out of business. There's some getting into it still that have some, you know, positive energy. There's a lot that stopped and was like, whoa, is it a good time to make moves? But it is a good time. And in fact, in the crisis time, trailers are cheaper, trucks are cheaper. In this recession area time, they're harder to get because there's not as many of them, but I've noticed that the prices of equipment has drastically came down to where you could get in. And then you just better have a good plan. You know, get some good customers, lease on to somebody who's got some good customers, partner with somebody who has some good customers, something that's going to be able to do well. Get with a good broker or a few good brokers and really use them, and get every certification you can get. I cannot emphasize this enough. I talk to it with my clients on the phone day in and day out. You know, get your passport, get your TWIC card, get your hazmat, get your tanker, get everything you can get. Right now is the time to really go above and beyond. You know, I've got a buddy that I've been talking to that I was mentoring, and you know, one of the first things I said when he said he wanted to get in a hot shot, I was like, man, you better get everything. So he did. He already had passport, but you know, he got that TWIC, hazmat tanker, he got the winch on his trailer, he got all the right tarps equipment. You know, he got him a dunnage rack, so it was easy to move his dunnage around, and he makes good money. And he said that winch is more than paid for itself. We were just talking about it, funny enough. But like something as simple as a winch, you know, on a hot shot truck to be able to pull things up and utilize as much different equipment as you can, you know, pipe stakes, different things, you know, coal racks. There's a lot of stuff you'd be surprised you can haul on a hot shot to be versatile. So, you know, get versatile, get as many you know, things you can under your belt, get some education. Now is a good time to learn dispatching, learn the freight markets, the lanes, learn how to get customers, learn how to, you know, brand your image, and branding is a big thing. But definitely, I'm not going to go on a rant about, you know, what you can do. I got a ton of other content about that. But this is just basically a reply video to Hot Shot Benny and them talking about, hey, he's right. You're going to do, you know, a different industry. It's going to be hard. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to suck some days. And it doesn't matter what you're in. There's good and bad in every industry, in every business. And this is just the trucking industry, you know. What I do like about the trucking industry that I will say is, yes, we have slow times, but we still have work, right? You know, it is cyclical, which, you know, goes up and down. The market does, unless you have contractual rates that stay consistent across the board, which are nice, but then fuel rates start to gouge you. You know, inflation can gouge you. Truck prices, trailer prices. I mean, a lot of things can really get you, even on contracted rate. But, you know, the main thing is just getting in and trying to do good, legal, moral, ethical business, and harnessing that, hey, some days it's going to suck, and roll with the punches, and do the best you can to get up, dust yourself off, and get back at it, and continue to do that day in and day out, and become a fireman and put out fires every day. And the bigger you get, the more fires you're going to have to put out in the industry, you know, in any business. I don't care what you do. If you're in widget making, you're in sales, you're in whatever. If you are going to be an entrepreneur and build a business, there's good, there's bad, there's great, and some days it just sucks. So that's trucking for you. You know, that's any industry for you. And I think that if you apply that mentality to trucking and just realize, hey, it's going to suck in something else, so why not just stay on the bandwagon I'm on and keep moving, then you'll be able to be successful. I've talked to a lot of people who have 500, 1,000, 1,500, 5,000 trucks at these different events and conferences, and a lot of them say the same thing. You know, if you stick with something over 40 years, you're liable to get good at it. And then I'm always asking them, you know, how did you get that big? How did you get to that size? And they all say the same thing. You know, at the end of the day, it just takes time. So I think that's with anything. If you want to have a great deck building company or great pool company that you build pools, or, you know, you build houses, or you build cars, or you sell cars, or whatever, you want to build a big dealership, anything you want to do, you know, restaurants, you know, franchising, whatever, it just takes time. You can't do it like that. Overnight successes take 20 years. So that's my 2 cents, man, from the Trucking Guys reply. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Catch you on the next one.